This video is part of the Dragonfly project that is funded by a grant from the American Indian College Fund. The purpose of this video is to share insight into the process of interviewing elders. The term elder refers to an individual known for the spiritual and cultural knowledge they hold. The term does not refer to someone's age, but rather their level of cultural and traditional knowledge. Elders have a wealth of indigenous knowledge, histories, languages, and ways of knowing community. They are a source of teachings that raise awareness of indigenous histories, worldviews, and help all of us increase our own cultural competencies and awareness. Hello, my name is Shote Waters, but my Lakota people know me as Wapaha Numpa. I am the grandson of Florence Tubles, my maternal grandmother, and Bessie Littlehawk, my paternal grandmother. I am Oglala Lakota. I am going to discuss with you the way to interview a Northern Plains Native American elder as it was taught to me. Interviewing the elders and then documenting what they share is one of the best ways for preserving oral stories, languages, and history. Here are the topics we'll be covering in this video. First, establishing contact with an elder. Second, appropriate behavior during the interview. And finally, understanding tribal culture and elders. It is important to understand the role and position an elder plays within their tribe. All tribes highly revere their elders. Most Plain Indian tribes, like the Dakota, Nakota, and Lakota people, are matriarchal. The grandmother is at the head of the family alongside her husband, the grandfather. When you want to interview them, you may need to contact their children, grandchildren, or whoever helps care for them, and ask their permission first to see if you can speak to their elder. Try to find out the appropriate way to contact the elder if you can, as many tribes have different ways of doing it. If you are unable to find anyone for immediate contact, you could contact their tribal government office for information. They will do their best to help you make contact, but they may question your intent, as many tribes are very protective of their people. So be ready to inform them of your project, your good intentions, and the goal of your interview. Once you receive permission to interview the elder, also ask what a respectful offering or gift would be to give them. Many of our elders love wakalapi, the Lakota word for coffee. Gifting a blanket would be another example of an appropriate gift. Many male elders would also accept a can of tobacco. An offering to them is important, so make sure you have it to share during your first meeting with them. When talking about a good time to meet, make sure they understand you like to meet at their convenience. Let them know if possible how many times you would like to visit. Also, discuss eye contact. Building a great relationship with their families is very important, and this relationship could help open the door for more visitations and possibly introduce you to others who might be willing to talk with you. Now that you have the first interview set up, let's talk about appropriate behavior. First of all, make sure you get there on time. When entering one's home, you should make sure you wipe your feet before entering or ask if they would like you to take off your shoes. It shows you're coming in with good intentions. Always be respectful of their homes. Wait until the elder sits and offers you a seat. Many will offer you food or drink, and it is respectful to accept. Do not decline. Politely introduce yourself to the elder you are talking to. Include your name, where you're from, and your educational background. Let them know why you are interviewing them. Ask them if they have any questions for you or anything they might want to know more about you. You'll also want to make sure you have your interview questions ready ahead of time. Ideally, these could be shared with the family member or caregiver you talk to before the interview. The types of questions you'll ask depend on the purpose of your interview or what kind of information you want to learn. Your questions are important. You might want to start out with some general questions for the first interview and then ask more specific questions during your second interview based on what has been shared with you. Here are some examples of acceptable interview questions. When were you born? Who are your parents? What was your educational experience like? When initiating the interview process, make sure you understand and respect their parameters. What are they comfortable talking about? What subjects should you avoid? Make sure you allow them to finish speaking before you continue on. Let them go at their pace. And try not to overwhelm them with your questions. If you're unable to get through all of them, ask politely if you are able to return, as many love having visitors. I also learned how outside people interact with my tribal elders by watching them approach my grandparents and other people in my community. My uncles told me that they were being respectful by bringing my grandmother gifts like food, drink, or blankets for the cold weather. I also noticed how these people respected her children by letting them know every step of the way what they were doing and why they were doing it. Many would come back multiple times to visit her and listen to her stories with great respect, listening, no interruptions, letting her talk at her own pace. Try to build a friendly and respectful relationship not only with them, but also with their children and grandchildren who you may see as a constant presence. I also encourage you to research the tribe the elder belongs to. Just because tribes have certain things in common does not mean they are the same. So take the time to learn about the people you want to know more about. So to summarize what we went over, always keep an open mind and go into these conversations with an open heart. Be respectful of their time and understand if they ask you to leave or to come back another time. Understand that their speech and humor may differ from yours. Some things they say may make you uncomfortable, but try not to take it personally. If they don't answer your questions, don't pressure them or continually repeat the question. Keep the conversation going. Some information they'll wait to share or they won't share at all. If you do not come from a tribal background, there are things they share that you may not understand. Many may still have grief or anger associated with their story. Do not overanalyze their household. Smile and do your best to not come off as judgy. If they are happy in their home, you should be accepting and happy to be invited in. Familial households may consist of more than what Western culture may consider normal, so be aware of your facial expressions. At the end of your time, make an offer to show them your project once it's completed and remind them of your gratitude for the chance to collect their stories, their experiences, and their knowledge. I hope this advice will give you a great starting point for your future endeavors. Pilamayaye, thank you for spending the time to watch this video and for preserving our heritage.